Hey everyone, it's Steven from Atlantean Workshop, and the video you're about to watch is the process that I went through to make the sculpture called Mulberry Moon, and I think you guys are going to like it. I made it with some Polymer air dry clay, and after letting it dry for about a day or so, I painted it with acrylics. And you're about to see that unfold in a time lapse with some dots and sprinkles of commentary laid out until the end. So here's another sneak peek of the sculpture real quick. Oh, and a note. If you enjoy these sculptures, rest easy because they're for sale. If you like them, just reach out to me and we can figure something out. I've got a whole bunch of them over here, just waiting for some homes. Okay, awesome. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you at the end. Bye. First, we start off with the armature. I used foil to create the base, and then I add more to the mass because I needed a good foundation for this tree that I'm about to sculpt for you. I also have these bag of skewers, these bamboo skewers that I'm using for the support system, and you'll see me fill everything out and get the mass how I want it, and then I'm going to gather some tape and secure everything. So we've got the clay going now. I'm forming it appropriately for the base, just smoothing everything out. It's going to end up being a mossy type rock. Now I'm just doing my finishing touches. And here we start to laying out the actual tree. Fold it over the top, smooth it out some more. Try to make everything cohesive, seamless. I'm adding in the bamboo skewers for the branches. I'm using my, I'm not really sure what that tool is called, but it's not an official sculpting tool. Use it to smooth that edge. At this point I ran outside to get some tree bark to do some imprints. And I'm imprinting with the bark. This is the easiest way to get a kind of a tree texture for me. I'm using another tool to open up the hollow in the front. In retrospect, I wish I would have prepared a little critter to go in there, but I did not. Now I'm using a wood carving tool to do some vertical lines that kind of bend around the trunk and its branches. And now I'm going to pull out some clay and start adding to the branches in little bits. You'll see that I take a small piece and kind of just screw it on there like that. Do my best to smooth out the ends. And I repeat this process a few more times. Oh, but first I'm adding more definition to the the hollowed out part in the front. And I'm adding some, seem to be like berries, but they don't all stay where I want throughout the process, so I end up removing some of them. And here I'm just starting my creative endeavors of adding some vines and some little spirals on the branches. Before moving on to another branch. This one's a bit thicker and a little wonky, but it's okay. Smoothing out the edges. Now I'm making the moon to go atop the tree. I add a little tiny piece of clay to keep it from falling down while I do the rest of it. And then I'm smoothing it out the best I can, make it look like it's part of the tree. Adding some more vines. I think, yep, I put a larger spiral right here in the center, top center. And now I'm beginning to shape the root system that comes up from the base, using a tool to make it look like it's a part of the original tree, deciding which way I want these to spiral. This piece ended up being a little bit too dry, so I took it off and redid everything and tried again, and I got a pretty good spiral this time. Pinched it to hold it together, and voila! Sticking it to the base, drawing some lines to make it cohesive. And we begin the second root, and I like a less coiled spiral on this one. I get it all on there pretty quickly, put my lines in. Checking it out, looks good. And now moving on to the final root, and this one took me a little bit to decide what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to spiral it like the rest or do some sort of bridge kind of thing, but I decided on another spiral, but having it rest away from the actual sculpture, as you'll see in just a second. Kind of looks like a tail, but I liked that. I ended up rolling it a little bit closer to the entire sculpture, like so, using my tool to draw the lines and make sure it's as good as I can get it. And I'm using the leftover clay here to create the necklace piece that goes with this sculpture. And that's that. And here is the finished sculpting, minus the paint, obviously. Just a quick show around of what I accomplished. Looks good, looks good. And then we move on to the actual painting aspect in just a moment. Close-up of the necklace. And now we arrived at the painting day. I start with creating a brown from, well, first, as you can see, I'm doing kind of like a primer coat with gray. Just, I don't know why. I don't really understand primers just yet. Just felt like I needed to cover up the white just a little bit. So we've got that base color on there, and then I create a reddish brown and put it off to the side. And then, but I actually start with this mint green because we're starting with the rock, obviously. And it's just a bright green mixed with some gray to keep the gray tone throughout it. I'm not worried about getting paint everywhere because I can just paint over it. And then I pour out and use a brighter green and kind of do my best for a gradient type feel to it. It kind of looks like a green-gray mossy rock, and we skip to using this brown color, this reddish brown. At the filming of this video, I was also live streaming, so some of the camera angles, I'm trying to show the other camera to my left, but here we are. I'm putting on this brown paint, getting as close to the crevices as possible. I'm starting with the root system and taking my time. I really enjoyed how dark this brown came out. Like I was saying, how I changed the name from mulberry to crescent was because mulberries don't actually have this dark brown bark. And I realized that after the fact, so I changed it to something like an oak. So it looks like I'm finished with the roots here, and I'm going up the tree trunk, making my way up and around, trying to get as much of the white covered as possible. Without the necessary tools, it's difficult to get into these crevices. For small areas, I only have a metal crochet needle and a tiny piece of bamboo fiber, and they work well, but it takes a lot longer than a very thin paintbrush would. So now I'm just getting the brown in there, and I think I decide later that I should just cover everything below the moon with a brown. That way at least the brown is consistent. And you'll see me do that in just a moment. I'm applying more brown in different areas that are drying that I see that need more. The main trunk, I want to make sure it's covered. And then I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's just paint it all brown. And so I'm doing that. And then once all the brown is on there, and I feel like everything else is painted adequately enough, I start painting the moon. You can really see it all come together right now. And then as that dries, I start painting the spiral in the front. I decided a blue would be good, along with all the other spirals. And then I go back to the moon and put another coat. And then I switch to the green. Nope, I switch to the light blue and paint these little berries and recoat the brighter blue. And then I think I start the vines now. And this is the first coat. Going through, doing the best I can, showing it to the other camera. And at this point I'm just going and recoating everything. Using my crochet needle to get in some smaller details, just dabbing it in. And I don't really mind if the brown is kind of combined with these other colors, because it gives a sense of that the tree and these other aesthetic parts of them are one. Like the tree grew into the vines and into the moon. So redoing all of these, just getting some more coats on, doing my thing, getting this green going. And at this point we're practically finished. I didn't film painting the necklace piece because my camera died, but yeah, so this sculpture, to me, I really like taking things you find outside and adding a spin on, like a magical adaptation to it. And over time I'll get more detailed and we'll have larger sculptures. But this one, I just wanted to take this color scheme and kind of create a magical tree that you might find in nature. Maybe even in a sense you could say, like, this is what a tree would look like during springtime, when it's about to blossom. It's coming back to life, and yeah, who knows. Most of my sculptures are just random. I draw what's in my head, and the meaning is open to, to debate. You guys can make your own sense of it if you want. But yeah, simply, it's just a magical tree that's growing really cool parts with vines and berries and a crescent moon atop. And here is the final product. The bottom is drying. The air dry clay takes a while, but here's a slowed down version so you can see. And this is before the epoxy resin is put on it. It'll add a sheen and it'll protect the piece more. But all in all, I really enjoyed this one, and it's one of my favorite ones so far. Doing a spin around for you, and that's about it. Well, thank you guys for watching. It's always a pleasure to share my art with you guys, and please check out the description box for... Oh, look, I painted it. There it is. Check out the description box for the Thought Drop section, where I leave questions for you, and I hope that you guys answer them, because all in all, it helps me build my content up. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you for your time and your patience. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.